Welcome to the extras video of episode 1 of the series. Before we get into the actual video, I want to talk about why this took so long. Of course, a big factor to it taking so long to come it was due to procrastination and real life stuff getting in the way, but also because I'm kinda perfectionist when it comes to continuity and making things look realistic. Of course, a big contributing factor of it taking so long to come out was due to procrastination and real life stuff getting in the way, but also because I'm kinda perfectionist when it comes to continuity and making things look realistic. That being said, I somehow consistently end up doing like 5 takes for one scene to finally get it right, just to realize that some random minor thing conflicts with something earlier, like in the trailer. I was acting as the invisible player since I didn't feel like having to do stuff with other people, and I realized that since I have a cape equipped, that meant the elytra that the invis player had was that cape, and that kinda messed with the whole anonymous vibe the character should have. And I don't wanna have to make the person playing the role of the invis player wear a cape throughout the series, so I decided to redo that part. Cases like that are really demotivating. But I've been getting better at catching those quicker and being more perseverant. Realized while writing this how weak I am because I'm burning out on a 24-minute video that isn't even animated. Yeah, there's probably a lot more nuance to making videos and motivation, but I find it funny. Also, there are a lot of mistakes in this video and the previous video, but rest assured, I have noticed them and actually have written them into the story that I'm planning to tell. Things like the game version changing every now and then, or characters not having name tags, or even some people not having enchanted armor or realistic gear are all now canon. If there is just an actual mistake in the video that I noticed and can't/don't want to go through the effort of fixing, then I'll bring it up in the extras video, and if I don't notice it before I release the episode, I'll just improvise or say it's not canon once I find out about it. On to the actual video now. This video is kind of split into two halves. The first half was made from November 2024 to March 2025, and looks more like an escape room video. I'm kind of mixed on how I feel about that part, since I made it a good year ago, and it feels very fillery, but I don't think it's bad enough to warrant redoing a whole 14 minutes of video that I had spent a long time making. The second half was made from May 2025 to now, July 2026. I'm more pleased with this half since I now have a clearer vision as to what I want the series to be, and I think I executed it pretty well. There are some things that are kind of unorganized in the video, such as the day and night cycle. At some moments in the video, and even in the trailer and prologue, I tried to use day and night as a sort of background that follows what my character's going through at the moment, and I think I used it decently in the trailer, but looking back, it feels a bit weirdly used in the prologue and the start of this video. I don't know, maybe I'm thinking about it too much. Just like the previous video in this series, it takes place in an escape room that has a certain gimmick. The gimmick in the previous video was that the escape room had two solutions, one that's cool and extravagant, and one that's simple and easier. The gimmick in this video was that after you have beaten the escape room, you could still backtrack through the entire escape room and escape through the first room instead of the exit. Both of those ideas were heavily inspired by a series of videos that continues to be one of my favorite pieces of content today, that being the Wi-Fi's debunk and its related videos, created by Canadian Wi-Fi's and Watto1876. I highly recommend checking it out. Originally, in the first room, when I had to use hunger damage to boost myself onto the dirt block, I originally wrote in a part where I used a metronome set to 120 BPM to help me time my damage ticks, but I ended up just doing the damage boost on the first take. Also, I think I accidentally assumed that all of the people watching this would know what disconnect glitching or null state is. Whoopsies. At the part where I'm looking behind the grindstone in the second room, there was originally but then I had a very good idea. I used F5, see using F5 blah blah blah, some people probably remember that joke. The reason I took it out was because, I wrote that about 2 years ago, and after like a year passed, the meme died out and stopped being funny, so I removed it. There is a small remnant of it left though, when I say, while doing that I had an idea. I would soon find out that it wasn't a very good one, but it led me in the right path. As a reference to what was supposed to be said earlier. I could have removed it, but I figured it was unassuming enough to be left in. Fun fact, the little drawing I made, while my character was thinking about how to cause lag, was sent as a community post on my channel over a year ago. When I wrote in the dripstone lag thing, my character was supposed to hold F3 plus A, in addition to increasing his render and simulation distance, but it turned out that just increasing render and simulation distance was enough. At the crossroads, I went right. Of course, this part in the video was made like a year before SFOT came out, so I guess I must just be really smart. There's a little funny pattern in this video where my character is given a bow, and proceeds to not use it for anything that it could be useful for, and succeeds in getting out of the escape room anyways. For instance, the intended solution for the right corridor goes as follows. There's an oak button in the small ravine in the middle of the room that is barely visible via F5. When you drop a sand block on it, the sand block breaks and returns to you through a hidden hopper system. Since the oak button's position aligns with the target block connected to the piston, you can place the sand above the button, then you can use an interaction between falling blocks and arrows, where arrows will bounce off of the falling block. This will cause the arrow to bounce off of the sand and onto the target block, activating the piston, and sending the armor stand to the hole. You can also cheese the whole iron bar part by breaking the glass and shooting the item frame. You can also check whether there are barriers over the exit by shooting at it with the bow. When the second half begins, I decided that during third-person dialogue scenes, the characters would nod their head whenever speaking. It's similar to White Pine. Now, when I was making this video, I knew that I was going to make an extras video, so I decided to list anything that came up that I would want to be in the extras video. One of those items is something called tip cane. Now, it's been a while since I wrote that, so I actually don't know what the context was behind that, exactly, but here's my leading theory. Something I tend to do is that whenever I'm saving something, whether it be a PNG, a TDS voice line, or whatever, I try to name it something funny related to that. I believe tip cane is the name of a mocap recording. I'm using a motion capture mod for parts of this video by the way, and I believe I was thinking to myself that the head nodding I was doing in that recording was a bit extra, like it was whirling my head around, like a hurricane. I know that the word cane in tip cane refers to a hurricane, but I genuinely have no clue what the tip part refers to. Throughout the entire scene with Splatzer, you can see animals and random spots of dirt that appear and disappear. This is just straight up a continuity error because I forgot that the animals in the background would move around and mess with continuity, but also, I had random tick speed set to 0 because I wanted to show some chopped down trees in the background that hadn't fully disappeared yet. That means that the animals would eat grass, turning them into dirt blocks, and that dirt would just never regrow. Speaking of Splatzer, he has given me permission to show the bloopers of him struggling to say the words myriad and phenomena.
Yes, you can. Myriad and phenomena, version anomalies, menu tampering, along with okay, myriad, right? Myriad, or is any version fine? Because it sounds a little bit different with Murray. It sounds like Merry Christmas instead of Merry. Myriad. Version anomalies, menu tampering, along with a myriad of random phenomena you seem to be emitting. Come on, let's go. Let's go. Version anomalies, menu tampering, along with a myriad of
Honestly, I don't know why I didn't just change those lines. It really wouldn't have been that hard. Anyways, rest assured, Splatzer now knows how to pronounce myriad and phenomena. I'm not completely sure if his voice has changed yet, so the Minecraft Hitman line probably still applies. For this scene specifically, I used carpet mod to simulate Splatzer sprint punching me. I did it with this little setup. Husky maze EAC. In around early May 2026, I had to replace some stuff in my PC since I wouldn't be able to play Minecraft without it crashing constantly, and after I did that, Flashback stopped working for me. Every time I opened a recording, the game would instantly crash upon loading it. I spent a good few days testing things, removing mods, asking in the Flashback and Fabric discords, but nothing seemed to help, so I had to resort to replay mod. The entirety of the trailer and everything after Splatzer's scene, except for when Husky's character crawls through the 2 holes at the start and kills me, are done with replay mod. This made things a lot harder for me since, unlike Flashback, replay mod didn't record certain sounds, allow for changing skins in post, changing FOV within a shot, block overrides, and a lot more. That means I had to either find mods to replace those features, or go without them. I only got Flashback working again 2 months later when I checked back into the Flashback Discord and found that some random person figured out that you can delete Flashback's folder in the config folder of .minecraft and it fixes it. As we get into the whole chase thing at the end, I do want to say, the person playing the antagonist character, Husky, would not be doing what his character does. Husky would not craft a wooden pickaxe, he would have crafted fence gates immediately and my character would have been slaughtered inside of the escape room. Actually, he probably wouldn't have waited to attack me in the exit, my character would have been too tapped right then and there. The song in the background of the whole chase is one that I made. It's about 2.5 minutes long, and I originally planned for the section of the video it covered to also be 2.5 minutes long, but I wildly underestimated how long would be comfortable for me. The section it covered ended up being 5 minutes long, so I basically doubled the length of the song in editing. There were also a bunch of different versions that I made before arriving at the one I liked the most. I'll upload all the music stuff I made for this in a separate video. This piece of dripstone is edited in. You actually can't crawl like this using a Riptide Trident. I faked it by having a command block TP me like 1/10,000th of a block towards the dirt, so I could clip into it and get into crawl. I did that because that's how my character would envision it going. Finally, here's some replay shots that I cut from the video in favor of other shots I liked or because I needed to sync with the music. That's all of the extras from the video. So now I'll talk more about stuff for people who are interested in playing a part in this. First, I mainly need voice actors. What I've been doing for the scenes up to this point is that I've asked for voice lines from the people in this video, then I make the visual using mocap, flashback/replay, and editing. I will also need people who are like, stagehands if that makes sense, people who are actually on a server with me so I can do things that aren't possible with just those mods. That includes PvP type stuff. Don't worry if you're not good at PvP. By the way, I want to do something similar to fight scenes in Unserious SMP by Divi, the ones that are choreographed. That will probably be more work than voice acting. TLDR, I need voice actors and a few stagehands. Also, it doesn't matter if you want to use TTS, it'll work with the story. Second, it's probably pretty evident, but I'm not at all experienced in this type of stuff. I'm going to be figuring everything out with you. I'm not the best explainer, so you might have to be a bit patient with me. Third, this is kind of unrelated to anybody joining this series, but if there's any better ways to accomplish what I've been doing, like if there's potentially useful mods to assist me in making this kind of thing, please leave a comment. Anyways, thanks for listening to this and bye bye.